Hey guys, welcome to your channel, and I'm going to discuss a topic today that should India participate in One Belt One Road initiative? It is currently in news. This topic is very much important for your upcoming mains exam, whether it is for UPSC or for a state PCS exam, and equally important as a question in interview. So, should India participate in One Belt One Road initiative? We will observe it later. First, let's see the background. One Belt One Road initiative actually was initiated by Chinese President Xi Jinping in 2013. And as per the Chinese government, it is an effort of the globalization. And in my opinion, it is the largest effort initiated by any country at the present scenario. Nothing can be a good example of globalization if this road comes into a reality, because this initiative has not left untouched any area in the world, right from the Arctic to the ocean. It has touched each and every area. It tries to connect each and every portion of the world throughout trade, throughout infrastructure. It is a kind of revival of the ancient Silk Road. So it is an effort of globalization through building infrastructure like transport, energy, pipeline, ports, etc. It spans 60 plus countries across Asia, Middle East, Europe, Africa up to the Arctic Ocean. It has two parts, one is road and one is marine. Right, and it is said that one important point you can put in your answer, that as per a Chinese Prime Minister, it is a project of the century to fill the void created by America First policy of Trump. Means ये जो policy है, project of the century जो policy है, ये इस policy ने टक्कर दिया है America First policy जो डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प ने शुरू किया है. So let's see about the fundings. The funding sources क्या है? Mainly China's Silk Road Fund, various state government-owned banks in China, and two Chinese-led banks, Asian Infrastructure Investment Banks and New Development Banks. These are some prominent sources of the funding for this huge and massive project. Then the important thing is that if it is an infrastructure project and if it tries to connect the whole world through a trade link, then why there is a concern? The concern is that it is a so much huge and vast infrastructure project, its main funding is coming from the China. Right. And the most of the participant countries are actually least developed countries or developing countries who are depending on China for their funding sources. So there is a chance that China will create a kind of new imperialism. China will extend her influence to the countries throughout economic aid. In this way, China will extend her influence over the whole world through this project. That means in the form of economic domination, in the form of economic aid, China will dominate countries. This is the greatest concern. So while you write answer regarding this topic, you have to be very careful about the keywords. Keyword means there are some words actually which expresses much more meaning in a concise way within a limited words. You have to pick up such kind of words while writing answer. So here the topic is infrastructure development versus strategic implications. Pick up the words, keep notice of the words. It is very important. Infrastructure development versus strategic implementations. Means throughout infrastructure development, what kind of strategic gain China will achieve through this project. Let's see, development donor as an emergent regional strategic and economic actor. Throughout this development donor means throughout the economic aid, there is a chance that China will become the key kingmaker of regional strategic and economic actor in the countries. Emerging player who is using its capital to undertake regional connectivity through the countries where India feels also threatened. It is clear China is using this infrastructure project China is using this infrastructure project by providing her capital, which will connect all the regional countries nearby India, and thereby it will leverage India's position in neighborhood. Emerging player engaging India's neighborhood. It is we all know this thing, and it is the greatest concern for India as well, as because it has engaged all the neighborhood, and this funding of this project is China, not India. That is why if this is connected, then India will lose her stance. India will lose her position in the neighborhood as well. So the combination, the result of all these three factors is that all these seem not to be congenial to India's strategic position in neighborhood, because connectivity as a dominant tool to influence foreign policy. When China will gain in the neighborhood, China will fund everything in the neighborhood, then obviously there will be China will be a role maker in the foreign policy maker in the neighborhood countries, because the neighborhood countries will be influenced by China rather than India. Capturing the countries in debt trap through finance. For example, Hambantota port in Sri Lanka, right, from which was leased to Chinese company, and the Sri Lankan government has not been able to repay that debt, and as a result of this, China has gained prominence of this port. In that way, there is a chance that China will capture the nearby countries from which the countries will never be able to recover. Right, in that way, China will extend her influence into the China-Pakistan economic corridor, posing threat to sovereignty. This road crosses the disputed area in Kashmir, where India actually expressing her concern. Right. So these are some keywords which you have to understand and which you have to write in your answer to make your answer attractive and meaningful. This one is whether India should join the project or not. While writing answer, you cannot write answer one-sidedly. You have to take both sides. Yes, India should join because a country will be one-sided if it ignores such connectivity. It has already encompassed the whole world, more than 60 and 70 countries. If majority countries join, then India cannot ignore it, because India will be one-sided and it will eventually lose India's interest. When so many countries are online, one country cannot dominate unilaterally. If all the countries join the project, then there is a very less chance that one country will rise or one country can dominate the decisions. India will find a unique platform to justify her stance in case of fighting terrorism or some other disputed issues. These will give a platform to India. India can use this platform and India can raise her voice over disputed areas, over some issues like state-sponsored terrorism. So India can use such kind of a platform to justify her voice. It will help development in various prospects. India has already joined Shanghai Cooperation Organization. India is a part of it, right? And China, Pakistan also a part of Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Then India can block some decisions, and India can express her concerns throughout this organization also regarding Belt and Road Initiative. No other alternate connectivity. Till now, in front of India, there is no alternate connectivity measures like Belt and Road Initiative to counter China. Coming to the point why India should not join. That finance vs imperialism, the most threatening and the most dangerous factor is that the almost majority of the funding is done by China, and the most least developed countries will be dominated by China. So in the form of finance and aid, China will create a kind of imperialism here. Disputed territory, the road crosses some disputed territory of India. China's stance towards India in United Nations Security Council. We all know that China's repeated blocking has embarrassed India in many instances. So these are some issues actually. If we consider these issues, then we can think that India should not join. Then what should be the solution or way forward? For India, strengthen other connectivity steps like Chabahar Port. India should try to find out other alternative connectivity measures. Deepening diplomacy with neighborhood. India should engage in diplomatic relations with her neighborhood countries. militarize Indo-Pacific and quadrilateral, strengthening Indian Ocean, find reliable and stronger allies, focus more on other regional platforms like SHARC, ASEAN, etc. In this way, while writing answers or while preparing our notes for this topic, we have to give both-sided points so that examiner will see a balance in the answer. This is the way of writing answer and preparing notes. These are my viewpoints. If you find any viewpoint from yourself, then you can add it. I'll come again with another video. Till then, take care of your study and health. Bye-bye.